Well, today, Wednesday, we're starting into the book of Judges. You would have seen the Bible Project overview video yesterday. And so you got the answer to the end of Joshua's book. What are the people going to do? It's not going to go well. They're going to follow the example of Adam and Eve. Book of Judges begins with the death of Joshua. Again, he was one of those two faithful spies, successor of Moses, leader of the 12 tribes. He oversaw the initial conquest. Once it had been taken, Canaan, the promised land, meaning again, overall authority had been taken, but there's still pockets of Canaanites in every tribe's territory. These tribes were supposed to continue to follow God in obedience. In a way, you can kind of picture it like God had placed Israel in a new Garden of Eden, and these Canaanites are, in a sense, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Are you going to look to decide what's right and wrong for yourselves? And here's the influence of the Canaanites. Or are you going to push against that, push that out of your life, push that out of your space, and just be centered in Jesus, in Yahweh? We'll get to Jesus. The purpose of driving out the Canaanites was not, again, vengeful. It was not about economics. It's that they wouldn't fall under that spiritual, religious influence of the practices of the Canaanite people. And in chapter 1, we see what 9 of the tribes did, with a focus on the tribe of Judah. And again, there seems to be some good military strategy here, tribes working together. However, that's actually not being obedient to God. Judah was doing this in their own thinking. Well, it makes sense. Partner with the tribe, work together. God's going, no, each tribe was responsible for its own area. And if they relied on God, they didn't need to be concerned about military strength. They didn't have to be concerned about which army had the better technology. Judah was to lead the way by themselves, relying on God. They win a victory. And here the king conquered expresses, hey, you know what's happening to me? That's just. I've done this to others. And this is a common theme we see in the biblical view when it comes to God's judgment. God often gives to us what we have given to others. He gives us the consequences of the life that we choose. Psalm 64, 3 and 4, Romans 1, 21 through 32 is just an Old Testament and a New Testament, other examples or descriptions of this same idea. We reap what we sow. Here then, the focus though changes to the book of Caleb, or the book changes the focus, the family of Caleb, the other faithful spy with Joshua. And Caleb's family serves as kind of a rebuke to the rest of the tribe of Judah. Caleb, he wanted to find a courageous person to be the husband of his daughter, his son-in-law. And it's like his daughter then shows courage herself, asking for more from her father. It's kind of a cultural thing that would not have been expected. But they're faithful. They do what God has promised them, and they follow in with that. We also see descendants of Moses' in-laws who are not ethnically Jewish. They're not part of Israel. Moses didn't marry a Jewish woman. He married from the line of Jethro. But here we see the descendants of Moses' in-laws trusting God for their provision. So in this chapter, we have a woman, again, not culturally expected, and a group of outsiders displayed as people of faith. And the tribe of Judah and the tribes as a whole, not so much in a good light. But up to verse 18, things are kind of sounding good. But then in verse 19, we see Judah did not complete the conquest. The implication being they didn't trust God. Because God promised, I will drive out the people before you if you trust in me. Other tribes are then mentioned. They also fail out to drive people out. Someone decide, let's not drive them out. Let's exploit them. Convenience trumped obedience. personal gain trumped obedience. And now at the end of this chapter, we see the tribes of Israel living beside idol worshiping Canaanites, and the seeds are being sown for a harvest that's going to cause a great tragedy. We reap what we sow. What may make sense to us, what might be a short track to us, what might seem convenient, what might seem of benefit to us in the short term. God says, obedience to me always is the best course. So where are we? Where are you? Tempted by convenience. This is the easier thing to do than to be obedient. Where are you tempted by this? As you consider that, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious to you. And today would you know his peace. God bless.